In the shadowy corridors of psychological thrillers, few stories grip the psyche quite like Netflix's limited series The Beast in Me, a tale that masterfully weaves grief, suspicion, and moral ambiguity into a narrative as intoxicating as it is unsettling. At its core, the miniseries chronicles the unraveling of Aggie, a once prolific author whose creative well has run dry in the wake of unimaginable loss. The death of her young son at the hands of a reckless local teenager named Teddy shatters her world, transforming her quiet suburban existence into a labyrinth of blame and obsession. Enter Nile, the enigmatic and affluent newcomer who settles next door with his poised second wife, Nina, stirring Aggie's dormant instincts for truth-seeking. What begins as a tentative alliance soon spirals into a vortex of doubt, as Aggie unearths whispers of Nile's past, the mysterious vanishing of his first wife under circumstances too eerie to dismiss. This setup, rich with red herrings and emotional undercurrents, culminates in a finale that delivers gut-wrenching twists, forcing viewers to confront questions of guilt, redemption, and the beasts we harbor within. Who truly perished in the shadows of this tale? Who emerged breathing, scarred but alive? And at the heart of it all, did Nile orchestrate the demise of his first love? Aggie's arc is the emotional anchor, a portrait of a woman teetering on the precipice of despair. Once celebrated for her novels that dissected the human condition with surgical precision, she now stares at blank pages, haunted by the echo of her son's laughter silenced forever by Teddy's drunken folly. The accident, a split-second decision amplified by youthful hubris, becomes Aggie's personal apocalypse, fueling a vendetta that blurs the line between justice and vengeance. Her initial encounters with Nile offer a glimmer of solace. His polished demeanor and shared tales of loss create an unlikely bridge. Nile, with his old-money aura and carefully curated charm, seems like a kindred spirit, a man who understands the void left by absence. Nina, his elegant counterpart, adds layers of intrigue, her quiet observations hinting at depths unexplored. Yet as Aggie delves deeper, the facade cracks. Rumors swirl about Nile's first wife, a woman of ethereal beauty whose disappearance was ruled an accident, but whose absence lingers like an unsolved equation. Aggie's research, poring over yellowed clippings, interviewing reticent neighbors, initially absolves Nile, painting him as a victim of cruel fate. But Teddy's abrupt vanishing catapults her suspicions skyward, transforming neighborly curiosity into a full-throated investigation. The series excels in its portrayal of psychological dissent, mirroring Aggie's internal chaos through cinematography that favors dim-lit interiors and encroaching shadows. Each revelation peels back another layer of deception, challenging viewers to question their own biases. Is Nile the monster lurking beneath the veneer of wealth, or is Aggie projecting her rage onto an innocent canvas? The evidence mounts subtly, a locked drawer yielding cryptic letters, a lakeside property tied to the wife's last known sighting, Nile's evasive glances during late-night confessions. Aggie's obsession consumes her, sleepless nights mapping timelines, frantic calls to distant contacts, until the puzzle's pieces align in horrifying clarity. Nile, it dawns on her, is no grieving widower but a calculating architect of tragedy. The first wife's disappearance was no mishap, it was a meticulously planned erasure, motivated by secrets too damning to surface. This epiphany strikes like lightning, illuminating the web of lies Aggie has unwittingly entangled herself in. As the finale ignites, the stakes escalate to fever pitch. Nile, sensing Aggie's encroachment, pivots with chilling efficiency. He frames her for Teddy's murder, a disappearance Aggie had mourned as karmic retribution but now realizes was Nile's preemptive strike. Fabricated evidence piles up. Aggie's fingerprints on a discarded weapon, witness statements twisted to imply motive, digital trails leading back to her doorstep. The setup is diabolical, leveraging Aggie's emotional fragility against her. She becomes the hunted, fleeing through rain-slicked streets as sirens wail, her mind a torrent of betrayal. Nile's near escape is a masterclass in tension. He slips through legal cracks, his influence buying time and alibis. But the narrative's true power lies in its refusal to let evil triumph unchallenged. Nina, long suspected as a complicit trophy, reveals her own hidden agency. Pregnant and perceptive, she has been quietly amassing proof, recordings of Nile's rants, financial discrepancies linking him to unsavory dealings. Allies emerge from the fringes, a skeptical detective swayed by Aggie's pleas, a former colleague piecing together the first wife's timeline. Their convergence forms a makeshift coalition, cornering Nile in a climactic confrontation that blends verbal sparring with visceral action. Nile's downfall is poetic in its irony. Arrested amid flashing lights and shouted commands, he faces the full weight of his sins in a sterile interrogation room. Yet, justice's blade cuts swift and final. In a brutal twist, he's killed during custody, perhaps by a vengeful inmate or a botched transfer. The series leaves it ambiguously violent, a nod to the chaos he sowed. Who died? The tally is grim. The first wife, silenced by Nile's hand, Teddy, collateral in a larger game, and ultimately Nile himself, consumed by the beast he unleashed. Who remains alive? Aggie, battered but unbroken, her survival a testament to the cathartic power of truth. Nina endures too, her pregnancy a beacon of complicated hope amid the ruins. The episode's denouement lingers on Nina, cradling her newborn in a sterile hospital glow, the camera hovering on her face etched with quiet dread. As the infant coos, she whispers a question that echoes the series' thematic core. Will this child inherit the shadows of its father? It's a moment of profound ambiguity, inviting speculation on nature versus nurture, the sins of parents cascading through generations. Does the baby's innocent gaze harbor latent darkness, or will Nina's vigilance forge a different path? This open-ended query elevates the beast in me beyond mere whodunit, probing the ethical quagmires of privilege and culpability. Nile's wealth insulated him, allowing manipulations that lesser men couldn't dream of, yet it couldn't shield him from accountability's inexorable pull. Thematically, the series dissects grief's transformative alchemy. Aggie's journey from paralyzed mourner to relentless sleuth illustrates how pain can forge weapons of clarity, turning victims into avengers. Yet, it cautions against the cost: fractured relationships, eroded trust, the isolation of obsession. Nile embodies the beastly underbelly of affluence, how power distorts empathy, birthing monsters who view lives as disposable. His marriage to Nina, ostensibly a fresh start, was merely a veneer, her pregnancy a ticking clock exposing fractures. The first wife's fate, revealed through fragmented flashbacks as a vibrant soul stifled by control, humanizes the statistic, reminding us that every missing person poster hides a saga of shattered dreams.